Hello, boys and girls. This is Miss Folks, and I'm going to be going over your cold read passage that you were supposed to complete this week. This was your assignment for Wednesday. So, if you will take a look at it, I am going to read the passage with you, and I'm going to go over some important keywords that we should have highlighted and talk to you a little bit about the passage. Hopefully, at this point, you have already completed it on your own. So I want you to go back through your passage and back through your questions as I review them. And you can make any changes that you need to make sure that you get a 100 for your weekly grade for this assignment. So I've made a couple of notes for us. First of all, you see that I have highlighted the title of our passage. And the title of our passage is, Do You See a Katydid? Now, do any of you notice anything about the word Katydid? Is there a way we can break this down so that we can read it easier? I hope you remember that one of your skills for this week for vocabulary was compound words. And I believe Ms. Stowe even talked to you about compound words some on your daily dose of review questions. So I have broke this word into two smaller words, Katy and did. Katydid. So that makes it easier for us to read. Now, many of you probably have never heard of a katydid, and maybe you're not really sure what it even is. So I have directed us to the picture or photograph that we have here. And I hope you notice that this is a leaf. And it is some type of bug or insect on top of the leaf. So we could draw a conclusion or make a prediction that a katydid is some type of bug or insect. So, our purpose for reading today is going to be to read to learn more about katydids. All right, I have marked off our paragraphs. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs to read about katydids. So as I am reading, I want you to follow along with me. Have you ever seen a katydid? It is a type of insect. It has wings. Katydids live in the eastern United States. They also live in South America. Most katydids are green, but they can be other colors too. Some are as brown as dried leaves. Some are pink or orange. They come in many colors of the rainbow. Some look just like green leaves. Some look like old leaves with holes in them. Some katydids look like moss on a rock. These insects often look like the things in nature around them. This keeps them safe. Katydids are awake at night. This is when the males sing. They do this to attract the females. The females chirp back. The chirping sounds like the insect's name. The singing and chirping can be heard in the summer. Look at the trees around you when you are outside. Don't be fooled. The bark or leaf you see may be a katydid. So we're going to look at, and these are labeled 22 because they were grouped together with some other passages. So if that confuses you, you can mark out 22 and put a 1 right there. So let's look at question 1. First of all, you have directions. It says read these sentences from the passage. Don't be fooled. The bark or leaf you see may be a katydid. I want you to notice that we have a word that is underlined. I want you to go ahead and highlight that word with your highlighter. Whenever a word is highlighted or underlined or bold, it just means that the writer is trying to grab the reader's attention. For some reason, they want you to pay attention to that word. So it says, don't be fooled. The bark or leaf you see may be a katydid. Which word means the same as fooled? So we're going to highlight that underlined word fooled again. And there's another super important word here. What do we think it is? Same. We're looking for a word. We could also highlight means. We're looking for a word means the same as fooled. So let's draw our big S. Do you remember that fancy word for words that mean the same? Yes, synonyms. So synonyms mean the same. So we're just looking for a word that means the same as fooled. So if you go back in your passage where that word fooled was, sorry, took me a minute to find it. You probably found it for me. So, paragraph 5. Look at the trees around you when you are outside. Don't be fooled. The bark or leaf you see may actually be a katydid. So what this is talking about is if you're outside looking in nature and you think you're just looking at a tree, you need to look very closely because it could be a katydid that has changed its color to blend in with the tree, and we call that camouflage. So we want a word that means the same as fooled. So let's look at choice A, happy. If I am happy, that means I am in a good mood. Is that the same thing as fooled? No, there's no relation there. Right. Now, this could mean like your right hand, or this could mean the answer to the question was right or correct. If you're fooled, does that mean you are right? No. All right, C says tricked. If someone fools you, is that the same thing as someone tricking you? Possibly. We're going to put a little check mark, but we want to wait and make sure we don't have a better answer. D says hurt. If someone fooled you, is that the same thing as they hurt you? No. So what would be our best answer for number 1? C. And a good way to check this is to take your choice and put it in that sentence. So instead of don't be fooled, the bark or leaf you see may be a katydid, could we say don't be tricked, the bark or leaf you see may be a katydid? Yes, we could. So number 1, our best answer is tricked. All right, next question. Now, this says 23, but again, you can change that 23 to 2 if you would like to. And I had my packet stapled, but I ripped it apart because we always want to go back in our passage for evidence for our answers. So I want to have that passage right in front of me where I can see it. All right, so number 2. The chirping sounds like the insect's name. Adding apostrophe S to insects makes a word that means. Adding apostrophe S to insects makes a word that means. All right, so if we look back at our sentence, the chirping sounds like the insect's name. So I want you to pay attention to just that part. Insect's name. Now, you know that S on the end of insects just makes that word plural. and we know plural means more than one. So if you see an insect, you see one. If you see insects, you might see 2, 3, 4, 5, more than one. So that's why that S is there to begin with. However, they have added an apostrophe at the end of insects. Now, why do we need that apostrophe? We need that apostrophe because something belongs to the insect. It shows possession. And what belongs to the insect is the name. The chirping sounds like the insect's name. Whose name is it? It's the insect's. The name belongs to the insect. So for example, I'm Miss Folks. That is Miss Folks's name. My name belongs to me. So if we look at our choices, the name belongs to the insects. The insects belongs to the name. The chirping belongs to the name. The sound belongs to the name. Now, the way they worded this question can be really confusing. But whenever you see apostrophe, and you're seeing apostrophe because it's talking about what belongs, whatever comes after that apostrophe belongs to whatever the apostrophe is connected to. So in this situation, the name belongs to the insect. It's like saying Chloe's pencil. The pencil belongs to Chloe. So here, the name belongs to the insect. And if you're having a little bit of trouble with that one, maybe go back and rewatch how I just explained it, okay? All right, 24, again, you can change it to 3 if you need to. How many syllables are in the word chirping? We need to highlight syllables. We need to highlight chirping. Now, let's refresh your brain. Syllables are parts of a word. There are several ways we can do this. We can clap syllables in a word, or if you place your hand underneath your chin and say the word, each time your chin drops down and touches your hand, that's a new syllable. So let's take the word. Let's clap it first. Everybody ready? Chirping. Okay, now I want you to take your hand and put it underneath your chin and say the word chirping. How many times did your hand touch your chin? I hope your answer is 2. My hand touched my chin. My chin came down and touched my hand 2 times. Chirping. Meaning chirping is a 2-syllable word. Do we have the choice 2 there? Yes, we do. Moving right along. 25. And remember, you can write 4 if you need to. Oh, we're back up to another one kind of like number 2. Which sentence shows something belongs to the Katydid? Now remember, if you're showing that something belongs to the Katydid, what would we add at the end of Katydid? Right, you're going to add apostrophe S to show that something belongs to the Katydid. It is the Katydid's, whatever we talk about belongs to them. So A, the Katydid's wings help it fly. There's apostrophe S. Now let's look at the word after Katydid. Wings. Could the wings belong to the Katydid? Are they the Katydid's wings? I think so, but let's keep looking. The Katydids look like moss on a rock. Now, do you see any apostrophe here, or do we just see an S alone? Remember, when you just see an S alone, it just makes that word plural, which means more than one. C, the Katydids hiding in the leaves. Now you have apostrophe S here, but the word after is hiding. Can hiding belong to the katydids, or is that an action that the katydids are doing? So here the apostrophe S stands for the katydid is hiding in the leaves. This is what we call a contraction. Instead of saying the katydid is hiding in the leaves, we are saying the katydids hiding in the leaves, and we put apostrophe S instead of is. That can get very confusing, and we're going to do some more lessons on that later in the year. D. So C would be incorrect. That is using it as a contraction. D. The bird can't see the katydid. Does katydids have an apostrophe S there? No. So our correct answer would be A. All right, we're going to do one more, and then we're going to take a quick little break, okay? So we will replace 26 with number 5. And it says, read this sentence from the story. The females chirp back. So our focus is on that word chirp, and IR is underlined. It says, which word has the same sound? Notice it doesn't say the same letters. It says the same sound as the underlined part of chirp. Now, the underlined part of chirp is IR, but the letters are not as important as the sound. What sound do you hear with that IR? Ch, p. You hear that? CH makes the ch sound. IR makes the sound. And then the P at the end. Ch, p. So we're looking for the same sound. A. Sl, p. Does that have the same sound as chirp? I think it does, but let's check them all. Now, I see IR here, just like chirp. But listen to the sound. Ire. Do you hear in that word? No, you hear I, long I. C. I'd. Tried. Do you hear No, we hear the long I. Tried. And then finally, D. Sting. Sting. Do you hear No. So our best answer here is A. Slurp. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick little break. I want you to stretch, get you a drink of water, do whatever you need to do, and then part 2 of the video, we'll finish with the remaining questions.